Good morning, guys, or as they say here in Berlin, Guten Morgen. Now, one thing that Marseille, where we were last time in the south of France, and Berlin, the capital of Germany, have in common is that there's loads of Arabic speakers here. In fact, in the last few years, due to Germany, well, I guess due to its very, very dark past, Germany became an ultra extreme liberal country, especially when it came to migration and to immigration issues. In 2015, from 2015 onwards, many people, in fact waves of immigrants from the Middle East flooded to Germany and mostly to Berlin, and mostly to an area in the south of the city which is called Neukölln. This area over the last 2 years has developed a rather bad reputation. People tell me that if there is a neighbourhood in Berlin which you shouldn't wander into with a camera as a whitey, it is Neukölln. So, as the city is not that big, let's hop on the metro. It's just a short underground ride away from here. So let's hop on the underground and check out Neukölln, Berlin's notorious Arab hood. Vamos! Or, as they say in Germany, well, I don't want to say the wrong thing. Right guys, we've made it to the station of the hood, apparently. A very interesting thing which I've reckoned here is this. Karl Marx Straße. Karl Marx Street is that way. That's interesting. Karl Marx, this city, when it comes to political history, I think nothing actually tops Berlin and Germany. And by the way, a bit of history about this neighbourhood. This neighbourhood has always been a working class neighbourhood. And actually before 1920, it was even not part of Berlin. But then it became part of Berlin. And gentrification started here as well in the later stages of the 20th century. Check it out, guys. Wow. The first thing I've seen is a kebab. Wow. Right. And in the 1920s, before the Second World War started, but when the Nazis were about to come to power, this here used to be a communist stronghold. Probably why one of the streets here is called Karl Marx Street. I reckon that's one of the reasons why that's the case. And yeah, there were loads of street fights going on here between the SS and communists. Because communists and Nazis obviously didn't get along quite well. And of course the far right of Germany, which is on the rise again, especially between young people, they are telling some scary stories about this neighbourhood here. And also some media are saying that this neighbourhood has basically been abandoned by the police a few years ago. And that basically Arab mafia took over. That's what especially the far right are saying. So let's see whatever is true. Let's see what's going on here in Neukölln. New Cologne, as it is literally translated into English. So what I can already tell is that there's loads of Arab influence here. Oriental shop. We've got a Marx shop, I think, dedicated to Karl Marx. Oh, okay. Okay, right. Friendly people so far. I can tell by the looks of the people, that there seem to be loads of immigrants here. Many Muslim women I've already seen. In the past few years, crime in Germany, and especially this area of Germany and the city of Berlin, has been on the rise, and so has right-wing extremism. And in February 2020, there was, not far away from here, was a fascist, a right-wing terrorist attack which killed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 people. A white ring terrorist, a German Nazi it says here, killed 9 people of immigrant descent. So terrorism is not always conducted by immigrants. Even if the right-wing politicians tell you this, not the truth. Here you've got an Anatolian restaurant. That should be good. I'll probably later on go for some kebab. I mean, that's probably the best thing about Germany. Maybe even the only good thing about Germany. The kebabs. That was a joke, Germans. That was a joke. I don't think it's the best country in the world or in Europe. But there's surely worse places in the world to live than in Germany and than in Berlin. It's not the prettiest city though, I've got to be honest with you guys. Loads of shisha shops as well. Shisha's never been my thing, but loads of shisha shops as well. Loads of Palestine stickers. Oh, and guys, here is a great example of the Arab influence on this neighborhood. Check it out. This is a barbershop, and here we've got the prices in German. And what's the other language they write it in? English? No, it's Arabic. Check it out. Wow. Now that's interesting. That's really interesting, guys. Because in Marseille, which is deemed to be the most Arab city outside of an Arabic-speaking nation, I didn't see any Arabic writing, to be honest. You can tell that this neighborhood has been taken over. That's my coffee number 4 or 5 for the day. I reckon that's alright. It's better to be addicted to coffee than to alcohol, for instance.
Nicht dangerous.
No? Good.
Nicht dangerous.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. Die Leute hier very good.
Ja.
No problem.
Ich glaube,
Yeah. When you think here black here, can black here
Okay.
kind of green.
Perfect.
Yeah. Very good.
It's surely a bit rough at night. This is what people tell me, that I shouldn't come here at night, which is obvious. I think every big city in Europe is dodgy at night, to be fair. But so far, that's it looks a bit run down, yeah. Apart from, I want to show you guys this building. This is probably the oldest, most well-preserved building I've seen in Berlin in my 2 days here. Check it out. You see the immigrants, the Arab influence here. You're reading a lot of Arab, loads of Arab writing on stores and buildings and shops, but so far I haven't had any weird looks or something. Maybe the far right of Germany are just scared of everything. Because so far it's alright. And yeah, I'm not gonna lie, the streets here are not the cleanest I've seen. Surely not. I mean, loads of litter running around, lying around. It's not the cleanest place I've been to. But hey, it's Europe. It's what I always say when I'm in Latin America, it's Europe. Because most South American cities, especially the capitals, are super clean actually. I mean, look at that. You need some more bins here. Council of Neukölln. And here you've got a Frauen Fitness, a women's gym. A gym only for women. Interesting. Must be a cultural thing. And here we've got a DM, which if I'm not sure, but I think that's like Germany's cheapest grocery store. I'm not sure, but I think. And this, guys, is not even the most Arab place of Neukölln. Neukölln is a massive place, a massive neighbourhood. It stretches all over the south of Berlin, all the way down to the airport, to the international airport. And this is just like the center of the neighbourhood basically. But there is a much more Arab streets, I've been told, which is on the other side. So we're gonna head there now. Look at this wonderful football pitch here. By the way, we've made it to this notorious street that I was told of, Sonnenallee. But look at that beautiful pitch, man. Wow. Man, must be so nice growing up here and playing football here every day. So, this is the hood that some Germans are scared to come to. Well, maybe I'm not in the most dangerous or sketchiest area of the hood. Maybe I'm not here by night. Maybe by night it's a different story, but I mean, come on. But so far, it just feels like some Germans are just flipping scared of everything. If you're scared to come to this place, to this area, just because some women, some hijabi women are walking around like her, just because most women are wearing hijabis, just because there's Arab writing on some shops, just because there's loads of kebab shops, some young guys probably selling drugs here, probably, surely, just because of that, you think it's a dangerous area? Come on, guys. This looks just like a normal street with loads of night shops, loads of restaurants. I mean, I am convinced that living here in this area of Berlin is actually not that bad. It's surely very, very affordable compared to the rest of the city. We got loads of decent food here, man. I've basically just reached the center of Neukölln, of Berlin's Arab hood. And apart from the graffiti on the walls, doesn't really have the feeling of a barrio or ghetto or something, honestly. Just a neighborhood. I mean, look at that building, by the way. Wow. An old preserved building in Berlin. Who would have thought? Just like in Marseille, I expected a lot worse, but this is the hood of Berlin. I mean, a few years ago, like 10 years ago, Berlin was still considered like one of the safest cities in Europe, like a party hotspot, a liberal hippie party hotspot. But of course, if you are too liberal, too drug friendly, of course at some point it's going to come back at you. And this is what happened to Berlin basically. Loads of criminals came here and the city got a lot. The crime rate in the city exploded in the last few years. And it's become more dangerous. It's now considered one of the most dangerous places again in Europe. But to be honest, doesn't feel like it. In this area, it doesn't feel like it. No bad experiences so far. You see some strange things like this, like some clothes running around. Zu verschenken. So if any of you guys need some children's shoes, some old clothes here, they are not for sale, they are for giveaway. They're just lying around here. Well, yeah, apart from all the graffiti, it doesn't even feel like a poor neighborhood, to be honest. Right then, getting hungry. It's time for lunch, and I've spotted a good-looking kebab place. This one, check it out. Traumeck. I like the name of it. Traumeck means dream corner. So let's get to the dream corner. Maybe we'll get a dream kebab. Mit allem und Soße scharf bitte. Massive, giant kebab. Wow. A dürüm. Check it out, man. The size of kebabs are it's just different in Berlin. €7 by the way. 10 out of 10. There is basically no... Sorry. Nearly got overrun there. There's basically no street here with no graffiti building. Which is why I think people say it's a rough neighbourhood. As there's not too much left to do here in this neighbourhood, we've seen it. And now we're going to head to a very interesting place, which is here in the neighbourhood. Which, yeah, looks interesting on the internet. So obviously we'll have to check it out. It's not that I hate it here. It's not that I hate it, but I don't know. It's not one of my favourite cities, to be honest. I'll be heading home tomorrow, and yeah, be thinking about the next video. The European videos are not over yet. I'm still in Europe for quite some time before leaving again. So it's not the last video from Europe, but in my next video from Europe you'll probably see me in a bit sunnier and prettier place. So yeah. So that's the neighbourhood that the German fascists tell you should avoid. It's just basically full of graffiti and full of good kebab shops. We're still in the hood, still in Neukölln, in Berlin's most notorious Arab hood. So, we've now reached a giant park here, a giant green area on the edges of Neukölln in the south of Berlin, which houses a Soviet war memorial. Apparently a massive Soviet war memorial. The biggest outside of the former Soviet Union. Because obviously, even though after World War II the DDR was formed and East Germany became kind of a Soviet Russian satellite state, it still wasn't officially part of the Soviet Union. Just like Poland wasn't and Hungary wasn't. It's one of these countries was a Soviet satellite state, but not part of the Soviet Union. So this apparently is the biggest. Here's the entrance, by the way. Look how Soviet it looks. Wow. The writing is in Russian and in German. Crazy. It is a massive, giant Soviet war memorial built in honor of the Russians, or I should say the Soviet soldiers that died in World War II. Yeah, fighting for the freedom and independence, as it says on this sign, of the Soviet, nation, of the socialist Soviet nation. So it is basically a war memorial, a giant war memorial, built in honor of the Soviet soldiers that died in the liberation of Berlin, that died in the fight against Nazi Germany, against basically the Germans. So of course, the Germans in World War II, Nazi Germany I should say, well yes, the Germans, they regarded not only the Jews but also the Eastern Europeans, the Soviets, the communists, everything that was basically east of Germany, the Slavs, they regarded the Slavs as an inferior race, which had to be dealt with, just like the Jews. And of course they did very, very horrific things in their campaign in Eastern Europe. And of course the Soviets took revenge for all of the bad things. They destroyed the entire city basically, which is why Berlin doesn't really have a lot of historic sites to offer, doesn't really have an old town and stuff. As modern Germany of today doesn't really want to have anything to do anymore with its National Socialist past, with its Hitler past and with the Nazis, you don't see anything in this city honouring their Nazi past. They're really ashamed of it. Well, of course, they are seeing these Soviet soldiers that came here. Oh wow, look how massive this is. This is even bigger than I thought. Check it out from afar. So of course, they are themselves seeing these Soviet soldiers that came here and basically destroyed Berlin, not as their enemies, but as their liberators. As their liberators from fascism. And it's pretty astonishing because these guys came here, the communists, and destroyed their city, raped their women, killed their children that were still fighting for Hitler. And still the Germans kind of are honouring them. It's kind of a thing of honouring your enemy. And it's pretty unique. Would you see a monument built in honour of a memorial such as this, a massive memorial in honour of your enemy? Probably not. This is the most communist memorial I can honestly tell you guys. This is the most communist memorial I have seen anywhere I've been. Wow. I mean, you have to give credit to the Germans for keeping this memorial intact when the DDR got absorbed, because this was probably built in DDR times, in East Germany times, back in the communist days of East Germany. But you have to wonder whether you'd see this anywhere else in the world, because even though the communists in 1945, when they defeated the Nazis, were the good guys, they ended World War II, they defeated Hitler, but they weren't a lot better in general. The Soviet regime was also a very restrictive dictatorship, especially under Stalin. So you have to question whether this might be the only such memorial in the world built in honor of your enemy. This is basically like if in Iraq or Afghanistan they would build like a memorial for the US soldiers that have died in the fight against the Taliban or in the fight against Saddam Hussein. It's basically the same thing. But what a place. I never thought I'd see a place like this in Western Europe. I know a certain YouTuber, one of the most famous YouTubers, that would probably love it here. Here's a quote by Joseph Stalin, guys, written in German. Crazy. Crazy. Here in Berlin, you randomly find a quote of Joseph Stalin. That's crazy. There's another Stalin quote. Amazing. It's full of Stalin quotes. Here you've got Lenin and some Soviet soldiers. And see you guys in the next video from, I reckon, somewhere a bit sunnier and warmer. Somewhere south. Hasta luego, amigos. See you in a bit, guys.